John Colo with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is give you guys a tour of my front yard garden. As you guys can see, here's one of my neighbors, and due to all the watering restrictions, he didn't want to deal with the lawn anymore because everybody's lawn is like turning brown because they're not watering because the lawns waste a lot of malt water. And the cool thing is, while there are watering restrictions against ornamental plants, and you can only water on certain days between certain times, those do not apply to edible plants. So everything I'm growing is edible, and this provides food for me and hopefully my family one day. So let me go ahead and give you guys a tour of what you can do in just a small residential lot. So I mean, as much as I'd like to have a farm, most Americans that are watching this, you know, have a small tract home like I do, and just because you have a tract home doesn't mean you can't grow a significant portion of your own food, because if you set it up right, you totally can. So I've maximized every square inch, you know, to have some walkways, but also to have basically nice 4-foot long or wide by 40 feet or 16 feet, 15 feet long beds to grow in a square foot gardening style. Also bio-intensive, where I plant things really close. I bring in the soil, including things like the rock dust and compost and, you know, wood chip compost or composted wood chips and worm castings, and then I just grow things. So, you know, this is the tour of the very garden that put me on the map on YouTube. Started this back in 2009, and you could check, you know, my videos, go back 2009 and see when I still had a lawn and we were setting this up. So this is what has been growing since then. A lot of the plants, like the trees, have been growing for a long time. And some of the plants, like in the beds, are more annual plants that grow a year or 2 years. Some are even just growing one season. So what we have in this first bed is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite leafy greens. It's called Ashitaba, or Angelica Kiisuke, and it's from Japan. And so I like to use this like the celery. The stems you could eat like the celery, and the greens you could just eat like any kind of leafy greens. Now it does have a stronger flavor, you know, stronger than a lettuce, but not as strong as, say, dandelions. So it's somewhere in the between. And these plants actually bleed a yellow sap, which is rich in chalcones, and that's really cool because it's like they've done a lot of research on anti-cancer and all this kind of stuff. Let me see if I can show you guys what it looks like. So this is where actually I chopped off, you know, part of the leaf, some of the small leaf tips at the stem, and you can see it's just like literally bleeding this yellow sap, and it's basically covered itself to protect itself from further water loss. And that stuff's really good to eat. Now, because it just bled there, I just scraped off some of the bleeding yellow stuff because it's like really good for you, and it's like it almost looks like paint. I mean, imagine painting your house with this stuff. I don't know if the plant can make enough. It's kind of gooey. It's a consistency like, it's like gum, but it dissolves. And actually this stuff tastes fairly bitter. So it's kind of like, it's like when I juice the stalks, it's like the stalks times 10. It's probably medicinally good for me though. Okay, now let's continue into my garden. Over on this side we got some a plant called Huacatay, which is really cool. It has a nice fragrant scent. I used it as for herb in, like, I made a soup earlier in the week, and this acted as one of the flavors. Instead of like using cilantro, which you can't really grow in the hot summer, you could grow this, and it tastes a little bit the same but different. Of course, on this side we got my massive Huacatay tree, or pineapple guavas. And you can see there's you know, a whole bunch of little baby fruits on there, and it's actually still even in the flowering stage. And these plants, when they're in the flowering stage, are the best because you could pick these little petals, and this is like when the petal's nice and soft, it comes off easy, you could eat it. Kind of tastes like cotton candy, like floral. They're like super delicious. It's like, that's what the fruit's gonna taste like when the fruit are in and they're fully ripe. So coming back more, we got another bed of Ashitaba since I like this so much, and I've been saving the seeds. I do have a specific episode on it if you are interested. I'll put a link down below. And then below here, we growing some oca. And the oca makes a tuberous root vegetable from South America. And so that's growing pretty good. It's kind of like radish. And then underneath my Huacatay trees here, I got some cucumbers. So this is like a little pickling cukes underneath here. And of course, I got my blackberries are now in season. So I planted thornless blackberries, so there's no thorns on these guys, and these produce lots of nice blackberries to eat. Way better than anything you get at the store. we keep going. We got a whole 4-foot by 16-foot bed of peppers that actually some cucumbers came up as volunteers, so I'm kind of leaving them. And then this next bed, we have a whole bed of peppers, and these guys are actually doing quite well. There's lots of peppers that I'm waiting for them to ripen up. Over on this side, we have a pomegranate tree, so you can see some of the palms here, and you know, we got all these blackberries that have yet to ripen. They're red, they're not ripe yet. And then over on this side, we had a whole bunch of, you know, once again, thornless black raspberries that are now past their prime. And if we continue on, we got a nice tall fig tree here with figs that I had early season, and it'll give me another late season harvest here just in a month or two. This next bed, I'm growing peppers since I like peppers a lot, and these guys are doing pretty good also. And then of course this next bed, we have a trellis set up, and we have a whole bunch of cucumbers growing down that I was going to trellis up, but I just got lazy. And then a whole bunch of beans, including just some standard green beans and some Native American runner beans. Going back further, we have this my sweet gome tree, and oh, I forgot about the persimmon tree right here. You can see some of the persimmons on there. This thing is like the first year it made fruit, it made like 3. The next year maybe it made like 10. Now this year it has like maybe 100. It's insane. And let's see, going back, we have a really nice Swiss chard here. And in this area, we also have a loquat tree that planted from seed, some daylilies, and then back over here along this little fence area, we have a bunch of cucumbers going up. All right, so here's the other side of my front yard vegetable garden, and here we got some sugar cane that's you know, growing, but it's not growing like a lot of cane for me. I think the season here is a bit too short. We have the New Zealand Angelica, which actually not as good to me as the Japanese Angelica. And then we have a huge tall sunflower. This thing goes up, and I don't think it has a bloom on it yet. And then we got some basil that's really growing nicely this year. We got a nice large zucchini plant that's producing some zucchinis, and a really pretty sunflower right here hanging over the front. Check that out. Like, I was up there the other day smelling it and then licking the pollen. Like, I like to lick the pollen off the plant, and then I smell it, and it was like the most intense smell, like one of my favorite smells in the whole world. Like, I wish every girl could smell like that. It smelled so good. They should make like sunflower pollen perfume. All right, so let's go ahead and walk through the arbor here. In the arbor, I decided to grow up some standard green beans this year, and also have the Akiba vine, and hopefully maybe this year I'll get some Akiba fruit up there. This side of course has the Ashitaba, and then going back over here we got Ashitaba and some figs coming up, and this is my huge fig tree that I planted even before I put it in my garden. So I've eaten a number of figs off it today and a couple days ago. And here what we have is, this is when I started like tree collards, green and purple ones, from cuttings. So I just took cuttings, stuck them in the ground, and then, you know, here it is now half a year later, and you know, they're pushing 4 feet tall. So that's working pretty good. And down below we have some Ashitaba growing. And this is just one of the pepper beds from the other side, so I want to show you guys like the vigor of these plants. I mean, these plants are just like rocking out, like especially this one on the corner here. Check out how thick that stem is. I mean, that's totally insane. So I think that's because of the special nutrients I'm using this year, including the boogie base as part of the soil base that I put down, and the CBD rock dust minerals. I mean, this is just like a stout pepper. You know, I think it's stouter because it's got the silica in there from the CBD minerals, which makes the stems, you know, thicker, so they're not going to break on you. So that's totally amazing how well it's growing, but also producing. It's got a couple peppers on there now, but even as it's still flowering, it's making more peppers, and this plant's going to be loaded up here pretty soon. Continuing back, you can just see from the other side, you know, we got a lot more peppers happening on both sides. And then over here, this guy's kind of been out of control. This is the Akira or Canna Adalis, and I grow this for the edible tubers. down below that you guys can see are like popping out of the ground right here. And so those got to be harvested and eaten like potatoes. You could cook them up or actually eat them raw, very high in starch. And if we continue back on this side, we got a lot more beans, including just the standard green beans here. And on the green beans, I really like to pick the green beans when they're like a little bit young, like not when they're too old. They're a lot more tender and quite tasty. Over on this side, we got a lemon verbena tree. And this was an herb bed that was overgrown, so I had cut it back. And we still got some wild arugula and some parsley growing in there. So in this last bed, this is an herb bed, and I just got different herbs growing, like some rosemary, some thyme, some basil, and even got some lettuce flowering over here. So I basically just been collecting the lettuce flowers, and the lettuce flowers on the bottom, there's the seeds, and I just spread the seeds out. And hopefully pretty soon I'll have tons of lettuce. So I always want to encourage you guys to save your seeds. You know, let some plants go to seed so that you could grow, you know, your own lettuce instead of having to buy the seeds again and again. Plus, the lettuce seed that you're created is now, you know, part of your specific, you know, climatic conditions and soil. So it's, you know, adjusting to where you live. Next, we're going to go over here, and in this section we got chufas, a kind of nutsedge that makes edible little tubers. Let me go ahead and pull one up for you guys and show you guys what it looks like. Alright, here it is. So this makes the grass up top that many people would consider a weed, but like down below, check it out. Attached to the root is like this little ball, and it looks like a little garbanzo bean. But this is not a bean. This is like a sweet root vegetable. So let me go ahead and wash this off, and I'll eat it to let you guys know how it tastes like a fresh one. Alright, so here it is. I've detached it from the mother stem, and this is what it looks like. Just a little tuber there. Nice and crunchy. And I can see why they call it a chupa nut. It's like mostly carbohydrates, but it has a nice kind of like fatty texture. It's really delicious. Probably one of my favorite raw tubers you can eat. That's pretty good, but you gotta watch out. These guys will take over your garden. So I've dedicated this space, which is an undesirable shaded space, and they've actually done quite well for me here, so I'm glad for that. Moving on, we got some pumpkins and some melons and some other hails growing in this little small bed underneath the overhang. And that's pretty much it, I think, for this garden tour. Just basically a pretty quick garden tour, show you guys what I'm growing this summer. As time goes on, I'm trying to get smarter when I'm growing and kind of grow more perennial crops that, you know, like the yacon that I have planted over here just grows all year long, you know, and it will just regrow next year. The Ashitaba is more perennial, and I got the middle beds, kind of more annual crops where I gotta, like, you know, tend to them and harvest and pick them and then, you know, plant new stuff. So as I go on, you know, my goals change a little bit, and I think perennial gardening, as I started, is definitely the way to go, so you could have actually less work and more food for you and your family. If you guys like this video, hey, please give me a thumbs up. I'll be doing a video tour of my backyard garden here pretty soon, so be sure to subscribe to you know, get notified when that one is out. Also be sure to check my past episodes. I have over 1,050 episodes now on all aspects of growing your own food at home, where I get to show you guys videos at my place or when I'm traveling to show you guys what other people are doing, so you guys could have more knowledge, and applied knowledge is truly power. So once again, my name is John Collard with growingyourgreens.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep on growing. Alright, this is John Collard with growingyourgreens.com. I have another exciting episode for you coming out. My bountiful front yard garden. My pepper plants are doing amazing. I got some huge peppers, like huger than I've ever had, growing this year, so I'm quite excited. And the reason for this episode is because I got a special guest back in